Welcome to Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, where the story begins after its end. A decade-long adventure has just concluded. The legendary heroes party, Hero Himmel, Warrior Eisen, Priest Heiter, and Mage Frieren have finally defeated the Demon King. Peace returns to the world. But while the others celebrate a lifetime of struggle, for Frieren, an elf who lives for centuries, 10 years, was nothing more than a blink. As the group watches the meteor shower one last time, they promise to meet again in 50 years. For humans, that's a lifetime, but for Frieren, it's just a short nap. 50 years later, she returns, unchanged, while her friends have aged. Himmel, now old and frail, greets her with the same warmth. But before she realizes it, he's gone. And only now does Frieren understand. She spent years with them, yet never truly knew them. The weight of time finally hits her. Haunted by regret, Frieren decides to truly learn what it means to understand others, to value fleeting lives. She visits Heiter, now an aging priest, who entrusts her with a young apprentice mage named Fern. Reluctant at first, Frieren slowly opens up, seeing a spark in Fern that reminds her of the past. Together, they set out on a new journey, not to defeat demons, but to understand emotions, memories, and what it means to live alongside those whose lives are brief. The story of an immortal learning to treasure time begins. Frieren begins training Fern in long-range magic. She says it'll take years to master, but Fern's insane mana control shocks even Frieren. 4 years fly by. Training her, Fern grows fast, and Frieren studies an ancient grimoire hoping to save Heiter. But suddenly, the old priest collapses. We then learn Fern's tragic past. She once wanted to end her life, but Heiter saved her, telling her living on gives you the power to save others. Since then, Fern swore to live strong for him, after a lot of training. She finally hits her target with magic, and Frieren finishes the grimoire, only to learn it has no immortality spell. Heiter just smiles, since he already knew that all he wanted was for Fern to grow beside Frieren, and he did it all just because he knew Himmel would have done it. When Heiter passes away, Frieren and Fern honour him with 2 bottles of wine, and their journey finally begins. On Himmel's 10-year-long journey, he made sure to leave things to remember him by, and Frieren on her new journey comes across a statue, and they help clean the statue of Hero Himmel, and Frieren, remembering his favourite flower, wanted a field of them around him. The blue moon weed. But it hasn't bloomed in decades, yet she's determined to find it. Months pass, searching for it, and Fern starts to get frustrated, but on one day, they chase a seed rat to a hidden tower, and boom, the place is filled with blue moon weed flowers. Frieren finally fulfills Himmel's old wish, placing a wreath of flowers on his statue before leaving. Episode 2 ends beautifully. Their real adventure begins not to fight demons, but to remember, live, and move forward. Like and subscribe for more Frieren recaps. Frieren and Fern reach Warm City to restock supplies, but Fern, suspecting Frieren's bad spending habits, secretly follows her. Turns out, Frieren's not wasting money. She's buying a small gift for Fern. Later, while eating together, Frieren recalls memories with Himmel and apologizes for not understanding Fern's feelings better. She gifts Fern the accessory she bought, a quiet, heartfelt moment showing how she's learning to connect. Their journey continues, leading them to a sealed sage named Qual, a powerful mage once sealed by Frieren and Himmel's party as they couldn't defeat his powerful spell, Zultraak. The seal is breaking, and it's up to Frieren and Fern to stop him once again. In battle, Qual unleashes his deadly spell, Zultraak. But thanks to Fern's new defensive magic, they withstand it. Frieren reveals that humans learned from Qual's magic, analyzing it, and coming up with much better defensive magic, and basically turned the once deadly spell an ordinary one, turning his own power against him. Together, they defeat him using the standard of spells, bringing peace to the village once more. Like and subscribe for more Frieren recaps. Frieren and Fern are crossing the Grand's Channel, helping an old man clean the island. But as the reward for cleaning Fern finds out he tricked them with a fake book. But Frieren doesn't care. She just likes helping people. Days pass, and Frieren's lazy habits start to show. Fern wonders how Himmel ever dealt with her. They clean beaches together, preparing for the New Year's sunrise, one Frieren always missed. She promises to stay up and finally see it. But of course, she oversleeps. But Fern wakes her just in time. And for the first time, Frieren truly sees the sunrise. Himmel loved so much. Later, Frieren reunites with Eisen, the dwarf from her old party. He's now grown old and frail, and Frieren asks if there is any help needed, and Eisen led her to search for the notes of her master, Flam, the legendary mage. They discover a hidden place sealed long ago. Inside lies Flam's grimoire, revealing a spell to a powerful spell which allows you to speak with the dead. Frieren learns the path to the Land of Souls, Oriol, once beautiful, but after the arrival of the demons, lies within the Demon King's castle. With Fern by her side, Frieren decides to begin the long journey there. A journey that might let her finally speak with Himmel once more. Episode 5 begins right after Frieren and Fern set off on their long journey to Ende. As they travel, we see a flashback, Haida telling Fern to listen to Frieren, or else he'll haunt her. They arrive in a quiet mountain town, but something's off. People keep vanishing. Locals say they're seeing spirits of their dead loved ones. Frieren quickly realizes it's the work of an Einsam, a monster that traps humans using illusions. The mist thickens, and suddenly, Fern freezes. She sees Haida standing before her. But it's a phantom. At the same time, Frieren faces a vision of Himmel. She realizes she's changed. Even her illusions aren't about her old master anymore. Both mages destroy the phantoms and push forward. Then, they find a solar dragon. Frieren wants the grimoire in its nest, but the dragon wakes up and they barely escape. Frieren sighs and says, "We need a warrior." Cue a flashback. Eisen tells Frieren about his apprentice Stark, a strong but timid frontliner. So, Frieren and Fern track him down in a nearby village and find out he's been living as a hero after scaring off the same dragon, accidentally. When Frieren asks him to join their journey, Stark admits the truth. He's terrified. Everyone thinks he's brave, but he's been running from his fear ever since. Frieren, though, believes in him, just like Eisen once did. As night falls, Stark starts training again, pushing himself to face the dragon once more. Fern watches, realizing just how strong he actually is. And thus, the trio, Frieren, Fern, and Stark, begin to form. The journey to the Demon King's castle just got a new warrior. Stark finally is going to face his fear, the mighty dragon threatening the village. Though his hands tremble, his resolve doesn't. Fern recalls her own moment of fear, when she stood her ground alone, and won. This inspires Stark. The next day, Stark is still very scared as his hand starts to tremble, but Frieren recalls the same tremble on his master Eisen. As the fight begins, Frieren remembers Eisen. In a flashback, Eisen actually admits he never was angry with Stark, rather feared Stark. For even a great warrior like Eisen couldn't believe Stark's power. And now, that strength shines. Stark goes for the attack, and with the training he had, defeats the dragon with that same critical hit. Frieren smiles softly, calling him amazing, before rushing to loot the treasure, of course. After helping the village, the trio heads toward Oriol, but their path halts a while. A fortress city closed as the demons still fights them. As Fern and Stark search for a way through, they share quiet moments under the stars, realizing how far they've come. In the end, the army realizes it was Frieren, the great mage itself, that was there, and Frieren's reputation opens the gate. All they had to do was tell them, and they continue their journey north with great applauses. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more recaps like these. Episode 7 opens with Frieren waking from an old memory, a quiet moment with Himmel and the others, talking about her master's texts. On their journey, she, Fern, and Stark clear a landslide to help a traveller, one leading them toward a festival built to honour Himmel's heroics. Among statues and smiles, Frieren remembers Himmel's words. He wanted these monuments built up everywhere, so when they eventually leaves this world, she wouldn't be alone centuries later. Now as they enter into the next town, Frieren senses demons and becomes ready for an attack before anyone else notices. But these demons were so-called peace envoys, and she's thrown into a dungeon, accused of violence against peace envoys. Yet she knows the truth. Demons don't seek peace. They pretend to, until you drop your guard, as the other demons are working trying to get the town's guard down against them. One of the envoys, Drat, lurks nearby, planning to kill her. He easily kills a guard and goes for Frieren. But Frieren's eyes are calm, because she's faced far worse than monsters than these small ones. She even warns Drat she defeated their leader, Aura the Guillotine. And the episode ends with Frieren standing before a demon. Like and subscribe for more recaps like these. Episode 8 begins with chaos. Drat's own special magic, his wires, slice through the air, aiming for Frieren's neck. But Frieren already blocks it, and just as he let his guard down, in a blink, she shatters his magic through ruthless ways and ends him instantly without backing down. Cold, precise, effortless. Now, with Drat gone, Frieren decides to see to with the remaining demons, while Fern and Stark plan to free her from the dungeon, even though Stark is rather scared by the fact that Luinia didn't even look at him, seeing him as not a threat. But it's too late. The demons move first. Lugna turns on Granat's men, cutting them down to make Granat lift the city's barrier so that Aura can come in. Frieren reunites with Fern and Stark, warning them she will be soon framed for murder. Now Frieren will go for Aura the guillotine outside the city, while Fern and Stark will take on Luina. As darkness falls, Stark sneaks into the castle and sees Granat. The air cracks with mana, and as he is freeing Granat, Lugna appears, but Stark fearlessly attacks. But Lugna's strength is overwhelming. His mastery in blood magic is unavoidable, as demons tends to learn a type of magic for hundreds of years. But before he can strike again, Fern bursts in, her spell flashing like lightning. Zoltrak. And with a perfect shot, Lugna is incapacitated. But with one more demon there, they escape. But the demons aren't done. Lugna retreats, scarred, and whispers, planning their next attack. Now, as Fern and Stark prepare for the next battle, Frieren walks into the mist, ready to face Aura the guillotine herself. Like and subscribe for more recaps like these. Graf reveals the truth about their enemy, Aura the Guillotine, one of the 7 sages of destruction. Her terrifying magic, the scales of obedience, a powerful tool which can bend anyone with weaker mana to her will, until their body turns to dust, and no one has yet had more mana than her. But Graf recalls a tale of a warrior who once resisted her control not with Orman, but through pure willpower alone. As Frieren and Aura's battle rages above, their magic clashes like memories of an ancient war. Meanwhile, Fern and Stark prepare to face Lugna and Linni, the deadly demons standing in their way. Before they move, Fern notices something strange. There's mana in the blood on Stark's bandages. It was Lugna's doing. He was already planning an ambush using his blood magic. Fern was shook as she didn't even notice their presence, and Lugna had her trapped. But when Lugna looks away for a moment, Fern acts, slipping past his attack in a flash. Underestimating her was his mistake. Lugna's grin fades as Fern's speed and precision force him on the defensive. The quiet mage he mocked now matches him, spell for spell. Below them, Linni faces Stark, copying his Master Eisen's techniques perfectly, every strike brutal and precise. Stark tries to counter, but Linni's strength overwhelms him. He falls, bruised and broken. Yet even as the dust settles, Stark clenches his fist and with pure will, rises again. Fern and Lugna's duel intensifies, each of them fighting with utmost precision as even one hit is deadly. Fern's calm eyes hide storms of mana, each spell faster, sharper, colder. Lugna smirks, still calling her inferior, believing her power will fade, but Fern's precise mana control shatters his arrogance, forcing him back. Desperate, Lugna yells for Linni's aid. Below, Stark questions how Linni mimics Eisen so perfectly. Linni smiles. She's seen Eisen fight once, and now she's him. Every blow crushes Stark until he collapses. In the dust, a memory flickers, Eisen's voice. It doesn't matter how strong they are, just keep getting up. Stark laughs. What a stupid idea. Yet he stands mustering all his strength. He realizes then that Linni's strength is copied, but her strength can't be copied. So Stark took a hit intentionally, and with the trap Linni's in, Stark strikes back with everything he has, breaking the imitation. Lugna turns for a second, seeing Linni, and Fern's light flashes, and silence follows. He again underestimated Fern's speed, and the battle is over. Like and subscribe for more recaps like these.
Magic designed to kill demons.
Episode 10 starts with Frieren meeting her master, the legendary mage Flam. Amid a village being destroyed by demons, Flam saves young Frieren, and seeing Frieren's potential, takes her as her apprentice. But a group of demons appear, and they ignore Flam as she's just a human thinking only the elf is dangerous. They soon learn their mistake. This human is far stronger than she looks, and her true strength is revealed. Flam trains Frieren to suppress her mana, a useless trick, but against demons who sees mana output as the only true strength of a person can be deadly. Aura confidently uses her Scale of Obedience, a powerful yet risky spell, measures souls by their mana, and allows the person with higher mana to control the other. And Aura, being a demon, did not even think Frieren is strong purely based on Frieren's mana output. Yet she doesn't know Frieren's true strength is just suppressed. And as the scale showed Aura with higher mana, she walks to Frieren thinking she has won already. But as she walks, the scale tips back to Frieren. And for an elf who has lived for 1,000 years, Aura's mana is child's play. And just as demons deceive with words, Frieren deceived with mana. And using her own spell, Frieren commands, Aura, kill yourself, and one of the 7 sages is gone. Frieren frees the soldiers under Aura's control and is thanked by Graf Granat for saving the town. Sadly, Graf sees his son's armor within the Fallen, but with the demons gone, peace finally returns, and Frieren, Fern and Stark continue their journey north and says their goodbyes the next town on their path to Ende. Along the way, they get caught in a terrible snowstorm. Stark even collapses from exhaustion, and Fern carries him, but thankfully they find a small hut, where inside they meet Kraft, an elf, Both Frieren and Kraft hasn't seen an elf for centuries, and they end up staying there for 6 months and survive through the harsh winter, using the supplies Kraft had. Kraft, being a monk, shares his wisdom about life, memory, and the goddess, reminding Frieren how even long lives can feel short when filled with meaning. And for him, the goddess is the one giving his life a meaning. Frieren remembers these same words from someone else as well. As spring arrives, Frieren, Fern, and Stark set off once again, their hearts lighter and their journey far from over. And Kraft and the party goes on their own ways. Frieren, Fern, and Stark climb the Schwer Mountains and arrive at the Village of the Sword. Frieren, on their way, recalls another memory where we see Himmel on his start of the journey, where he has the fake hero sword and how he wishes to get the real one. And it's on this village the legend of the hero's blade still live. And the myth that whoever pulls the blade from its stone is going to be the hero, Frieren reveals. How Himmel the hero never managed it. The hero itself never actually managed to get the hero's sword. Even though Himmel never gave up just because he was a fake hero, people still forged a better story, as there should not be a failure in a hero's tale. The village asks for help with monsters. The trio answers the call, cutting through wolf-like beasts and confronting the Lord of the Mountain itself. A powerful demon, but with the combo of Stark's attack and Fern's defense, Frieren blasts the demon. The next day, it's Stark's birthday, and Fern asks Stark what he wants as his present, but Stark actually never knew what a birthday was, as when he was a child. His father would look down on him and calls him weak, even though Stark was just a boy. Nobody in his family cared about him, except for his big brother. As they are gone, Frieren cooks Stark a big hamburger steak, a traditional steak that warriors eat on their birthday. And as Frieren explains, this is the steak warriors eat as she heard from Eisen. Stark realized why his brother always cooked him steaks on Stark's birthday. It's because he considered Stark as a true warrior. The episode closes on small human moments: friendship, food, and the quiet ways memories become legends. Like and subscribe for more Frieren recaps. Episode 13 begins quietly, with Frieren meeting a man stuck in a swamp. While he is going down, he says he once dreamed of being an adventurer just like Frieren, but abandoned that dream when life got in the way. Now, filled with regret, he asks Frieren for help. She hesitates to even touch his muddy hand and just ignores him, but Fern steps in, gently reminding her that helping others is what adventurers do. After saving him, they continue their travel. But things take a turn when Stark is bitten by a poisonous creature, and Frieren don't know how to heal, and they go to the nearest cure. There the High Priest says Stark can't be saved even by him. But then comes his brother, the same man Fern saved, named Serie, turns out to be a priest as well, and treats Stark's wound. Better than his brother Frieren is stunned when Serie's brother mentions Haida, the priest who once travelled with her, who had spoken of her long ago and left a holy symbol behind. The brother asks Frieren to take Serie along, believing he still longs for the adventure he once gave up. So Frieren asked Serie, but Serie refuses, calling himself a failure, too late to chase old dreams. His words echo Frieren's own hesitation from years ago, when she almost refused Himmel's invitation to join his party. Remembering Himmel's lesson, that it's never too late to move forward, Frieren tries to awaken that spark in him again, but then we see that Serie actually quit on his dream, as he once overheard his brother declining Haida's offer to become a high priest for him. But it's Serie's brother who finally reaches him, urging him not to repeat the same regrets, and saying how he never regretted that decision. And he asks if he regret his decision to quit. This lit Serie's spark again. Serie decides to travel once more, to find the friend he once left behind. And so, as the four, Frieren, Fern, Stark, and Serie, walk out of the village together, a new warmth settles among them. Another companion joins their journey, not to chase glory, but to rediscover what it means to live. Fern upset that Stark forgot her birthday gift. Embarrassed, Stark storms off, leaving an awkward silence behind. Serie, ever the curious priest, asks Frieren what's going on. Together, they gently nudge Fern to talk things out. Later, Fern spots Stark in the plaza but hesitates, her pride holding her back. But she bumps into Serie, who's browsing a shop, and they talk about gifts, how hard it can be to choose the right one, and how sometimes the meaning matters more than the object. Serie encourages her to make the first move. Gathering her courage, Fern approaches Stark. Before she can say much, Stark apologizes first, admitting he wanted to get her something but didn't know what she'd like. Fern apologizes too, and the two decide to explore town together, smiling again like nothing ever happened. After the shopping was done, the group travels by a merchant wagon. Fern wears the new bracelet from Stark, one that reminds Frieren of a gift Himmel once gave her, a lotus ring, but before she can think more, a monster attacks, and she looses it, forcing the group into battle. Frieren decided to just get out and blast the monster, and now as they help the merchant rebuild his wagon, Stark learns the bracelet's deep meaning from Serie, as the bracelet had a lotus on it in flower language that translates to a gift given to lovers and meant eternal love. And as Fern hears this, she recalls Frieren's ring from Himmel. It also had the same lotus. And realizing this, they search for the ring, The merchant, coincidentally, was about to give a spell for finding lost accessory as a reward, and as she flies above the clouds, Frieren remembers that day. Himmel placing the ring gently on her finger, smiling, not knowing the whole meaning of it. In the present, she finds it once more and clutches it close. Like and subscribe for more recaps like these. As Frieren and her party continues their journey north, they enter a quiet mountain village. Something feels wrong. Every villager they pass is fast asleep. No movement, no sound, just silence. Sign examines them and realizes it's no ordinary sleep. It's a curse, a powerful one that only priests can handle. He prepares to perform a ritual, but there's a faster way. Find and destroy the monster causing it. Before they can leave, Stark suddenly collapses, the curse taking hold of him too. Frieren and Fern look at Sign. It's spreading. They move quickly into the nearby forest to hunt down the source. Night falls, and they stop to rest. But as Fern drifts off, she too succumbs to the curse. Frieren quietly casts a protective barrier over the two, ensuring they stay safe while she and Sign continue. But even Frieren begins to tire. Her mana flickers, her eyelids heavy, and before long, she collapses too. But before sleeping away, Frieren asks Sign to not fight the monster alone and just wake her, even though even Sign can only keep her awake for 5 seconds. The fight begins and Sign tries his best. He's powerful, but not powerful enough. He could turn back, or he could trust the one sleeping before him. Then, a memory flashes. Haita's voice echoes in his mind. The secret to success in an adventure is as simple as trusting one another. Taking a deep breath, Sign channels his mana and casts an awakening spell. Thinking she won't be able to do it, Frieren's eyes open calm, focused, and cold as winter. Without a word, she raises her staff and releases a blinding surge of magic. The monster lets out a final cry before vanishing into dust. And just like that, the curse is broken. The flower beast falls, and the village finally wakes from its cursed sleep. Sign receives thanks. Frieren nods with quiet approval, and the journey continues. They arrive in the town of Vorig, and suddenly a nobleman approaches Stark. He stares at Stark and examines Stark's body, and asks him to come to his estate. And before he could talk, they take him, and the others follow. The party asks why they are being held there, and the nobleman, Lord Orden, shows them a portrait. His son, Vert, a hero of the city, who passed away long ago. In 3 months, a grand gathering will be held, and he wants Stark to stand in Vert's place, as he doesn't want his people's moral go down. For this, he offers 10 gold coins and a rare grimoire, and with the party basically having no money left. Frieren pauses to consider, and they accept. Stark and Fern have to train etiquette now, as in the ball, they have to be poised and dance. Struggling and stumbling together they train, while Frieren and Sein enjoys their stay. Stark learns Orden's sword style, while Fern learns to move with poise. At the ball, the two dresses as their counterpart and dances, awkwardly but gently, and manage to do it well. And the task is done. Lord Orden, now being close with Stark, asks for Stark to stay. But Stark makes his choice. He won't stay. Because Stark knows he will never be able to replace Rit. And the next day, they says their goodbye and continue their journey north. Sign sits by the campfire, thinking about his childhood friend, the one he never followed on their promised adventure. The next morning, the party reaches a small village where Frieren plans to meet an old companion, Vol, a dwarf warrior who's nearing the end of his life. Vol welcomes them warmly, but Stark is calling Vol out by how fragile he has become. But Vol laughs it off and instantly knocks him down and teaches Stark something important. Strength means nothing if you stop paying attention to the world around you. Frieren asks Stark to train under Vol while they stay, and Stark begins learning from him day by day. While Fern and Sein help villagers with chores, we learn why Vol is still protecting this place. Years ago, Vol's wife passed away, but she loved this village deeply. So, Vol promised to protect it for her sake, even after her memory has begun to fade. Frieren and Vol talk quietly in the beautiful night. Vol asks if Frieren remembers what Himmel's voice sounded like. Frieren pauses. The answer doesn't come easily. Vol explains he can no longer remember his wife's face or voice, and how his memories are starting to drift, but he still keeps his promise to her. Even if memories fade, the feelings remain. Frieren tells him she'll carry his memory forward too, and the two spend some time talking about both of their long lives. The next day, as the party was about to continue on their journey, Warrior Vol calls for Frieren again, as he had a dream last night about his wife, and the old man thanks Frieren for it, as he got to remember her once again. The party now continues with full hearts once again. After saying goodbye to Vol, Frieren and the party continue down the raw road. But during the journey, Sein speaks up. He still wants to find his childhood friend, the one he once called Guerrilla Warrior. Meanwhile, Seine himself was known as Goatee Priest. Frieren tells them they'll be reaching Oberst soon, but Seine asks for one stop, a small settlement where he heard a rumor about his friend. They ask around, and a villager actually remembers him, even though it's been 10 years, because of the name Gorilla, and he sends them to an old woman who knows everyone. But she's not giving information for free. So the party ends up doing task after task for her, until the final one, cleaning some forgotten hero statues. As the party reaches the statue, they realize it's Kraft the monk. He too, once a great hero, but just faded with time. Then Seine also remembers visiting these same statue with Haita and Guerrilla Warrior when they were young, dreaming about becoming heroes who'd be remembered forever. That's even the reason why they had ridiculous names like Guerrilla. But Haita told them the reality of how even great heroes fade with time, how even Himmel could be forgotten. Sin finally knew the real name of these heroes, at least one of them, as sadly these heroes' names were forgotten by everyone back then. After the job is done, the old woman finally speaks. She somewhat remembers Guerrilla Warrior leaving, for Tours, a place near Oberst. And with that, Seine goes quiet, because now, the chance to reunite is real. And Seine there says his goodbyes with the party as they are going for different places. Like and subscribe for more recaps like these. Seine reminds Frieren and Fern why he chose to travel with them. And that night, they rest together in a small cabin Stark found. As tomorrow, they will all be parting ways. But the next morning, a blizzard seals the world outside. And now, they have wait out the snow. While the snow falls, the group wanders the town. Taverns, shops, quiet corners warm with lamplight, just passing time together. But something's off. Fern and Stark haven't spoken with each other for a while. They seem to be fighting. Frieren asks Seine to help, so Seine takes one by one and asks. And he now understands why. This started because Stark apparently touched Fern's face. And Fern, for some reason, is angry. But we soon realize it was just a misunderstanding, as Fern actually does like Stark as well, but she was only startled by Stark's strength. And with Seine's guidance, they finally just talked to each other and sorted it out. That night, Seine asks why Frieren brought him with them at all. And she reveals how Himmel pushed her into this adventure and she just wanted to pay it forward. And more importantly, it's what Himmel would have done. Then Seine reminisced his own past and decided to let the regrets go and go for his friend. The next morning, Seine says goodbye. He'll continue alone, searching for Guerrilla Warrior. And both the journey goes on. Like and subscribe for more recaps like these. Seine decides to leave Frieren's group, choosing to search for his lost friend, Guerrilla Warrior. Frieren, Fern and Stark continue their journey toward Oberst, now missing the healer who usually kept them steady. They are a bit open to danger. They stop to rest inside a cave, but Stark notices something's wrong. Fern is shivering, pale, and burning with hot. Frieren flips through their supplies and finds a notebook Seine secretly left behind, filled with medicinal herb notes, almost like he expected this. Using magic, she diagnoses Fern and turns out it is just a simple cold, but still have to take ample rest. Frieren identifies which herbs can cure her from the book. Stark insists they find a warmer shelter, and fortunately, a kind woman offers Fern a bed while Frieren and Stark search the nearby forest for the ingredients. They went on gathering many herbs, and for the final ingredient, then got to a blooming cherry blossom tree. A quiet, beautiful place in the cold winter. Stark asks why Frieren held Fern's hand when she was in bed, and Frieren remembers it as Himmel, the hero, held Frieren's hand when she was sick. And after the final ingredient is collected, Frieren cooked up the medicine almost like a witch. Fern is given the medicine, and soon enough, she feels better. The next day, Fern wakes healed. They thank the woman and continue their journey to Oberst, stronger than before. Following Seine's departure, Frieren, Fern and Stark arrive at the magic city of Oberst. Their immediate goal is for Frieren and Fern to acquire their first-class mage licenses, which are necessary to continue their journey to the northern plateau. Upon attempting to register, the party faces a restriction. Only 5th-class mages or higher are eligible. Frieren lacks a formal rank, as she couldn't keep up with the constant change of order in mage. However, a callback to an earlier item called Holy Symbol resolves the issue as Frieren presents a holy emblem given to her in the past. A nearby high-class mage recognizes the artifact, surprised by it, and accepting it as proof of Frieren's qualification for the test. Then we see another test taker, the powerful mage Ubel. She is confronted by the warrior Kraft, who saves her from some bandits, even though he knows that Ubel was responsible for the deaths of a few bandits, and realizes he has actually saved the bandits from her. The exam officially begins. The mages are divided into groups of 3. Frieren was teamed up with 2 third-class mages, Lawine and Kane. Their task is to capture a specific type of bird, the Stelly, within a time limit. And the exam begins. The first phase of the Mage Exam begins quietly. But the forest is anything but calm. Teams scatter in every direction, each chasing the elusive stiller birds to catch, creatures so sensitive that a single hint of mana sends them flying, and all of them being mages makes it that difficult. Frieren, Lawin, and Kana push deeper into the woods, and immediately they start fighting. But once they saw a stiller, the sisters' true power is shown as Kana uses her water magic, shaping streams to guide the stiller's movements, and Lawin simultaneously freezing the water to trap it. It's chaotic, but somehow the two sync perfectly, slipping into a rhythm formed from years of bickering and relying on each other. But the stiller was not that easily catched as it flew away with its pure strength. Frieren then tells them to just observe first, and once found its weakness, catch it. And as they wait out the night, they realise stillers aren't the only thing to worry about here, as they are in a forest and a mythical beast attacks Kana. But thankfully, Frieren was there and saved her using a ring spell that can contain almost any beasts. And as they sit together, Kana opens up, telling the story of how she and Lawin met. A childhood rivalry that started with constant arguing, but slowly became trust, comfort, and unspoken teamwork. Listening, Frieren smiles faintly, reminded of Fern and Stark. The time is running out, but now Kana has a new plan. The episode begins with Frieren remembering a moment from her past. Eisen was once scared to face a dragon, and Himmel pretended to be feared as well to help him feel less nervous. This memory highlights how Himmel supported his friends in thoughtful ways. Back in the present, Fern's group actually already caught their stiller, but Ubel reminds Fern that stealing from other groups is allowed, which means there is also the challenge of protecting their bird from other mages. The next morning, Frieren's team reviews what they learned about the stiller. Frieren mentions she used a binding spell based on folk magic, which she used previously on a bird-like monster, but it only works at close range, and Stiller can sense them from far away with command. But they begin forming a risky strategy to capture their own Stiller, a plan that will likely pull them into direct conflict with other teams. Fern's group, now with the Stiller, just has to survive and wait out the exam, but they run out of water and must travel to find some. But as they talk, Werbel's group ambushes Fern's team. Fern blocks all the attacks, but they demands to hand over their Stiller before the fight escalates, but all of a sudden, a bright flash comes from the nearby lake. This is revealed to be Lawin from Frieren's group, freezing the lake as part of Frieren's plan. And it disrupts every group trying to gather water. Then we see Denken's team, an experienced mage. They observe how other teams react and discuss how the exam is designed to eliminate inexperienced mages. Denken criticizes the system, but still works within it. After inspecting various water sources, Denken figures out that Frieren's team will target every pond available and fill it with mana so that the still won't go near there and keep the water near them mana-free. Frieren waits patiently for hours at the only mana-free water in the entire forest, sitting there completely concealing her mana, and finally a stiller arrived and sits on her, showing the true power of concealing mana. Lawin and Kana celebrate, but the victory doesn't last long. Denken was waiting, knowing for sure Frieren has to use her spell to catch the stiller, and once he saw it, he was prepared. Episode 20 of Frieren shifts focus to the fierce battles of the Second-Class Mage Exam. We follow multiple fights unfolding across the forest. First, the ruthless Ubel faces the disciplined soldier mage Werbel. Their clash is a toe-to-toe, but Werbel uses a powerful binding spell, demanding Ubel's stiller. But even when he has her defeated, he doesn't take it, a choice that puzzles her. But after a lot of just talking and showing mercy, Werbel prepares to finish her, but Fern arrives, revealing she has defeated Werbel's comrade, Era. Fern even claims she killed her. This shocking news means Werbel has failed the exam's rule of having a full team always, and surprisingly, he spares Ubel as he already lost. Once he's gone, Ubel realizes Fern lied. Era was only knocked out. It was a brilliant bluff to save Ubel's life. Meanwhile, Land, Fern's other teammate, uses his intricate illusion magic to outwit and defeat his opponent using some Loki type of shit. We then see a quieter moment with Werbel. He carries his defeated teammates, Era and Shaf. Era questions his kindness, and Werbel reveals a weird motivation, as he never really wanted to kill, but he once promised to a girl when he was little that he will kill all demons. It's not pure kindness, but a profound personal vow. In a twist of fate, this moment of carrying his team leads them to spot and let them capture a stiller. The episode's final act sets up the main event. Denken's team confronts Frieren's group. The agile Laufen manages to steal Frieren's stiller using her insane speed, and a tense standoff follows. Denken's ally Richter argues for lethal force to win, but Denken forbids it, as he and Frieren share know from their lives, killing for a mere title is beneath true mages. But Richter did have other motives than a simple title, as explains the real prize. The exam's founder, the legendary mage Serie. She is a living archive of all human magic, as she too is an elf and will grant the victors any spell they desire. And he wants that, and Richter then isolate Frieren by casting a spell to move the earth itself, trapping Lawin and Kana. The episode ends on this cliffhanger. Two powerful groups, led by Denken and Frieren, are going for a major clash, with stolen stiller and trapped allies raising the stakes. We open in the distant past. A young Frieren accompanies her first master, the great mage Flam, to meet a legend, Serie, the immortal founder of the Magic Association. Serie, who sees eternal life as the ultimate privilege for a mage, is intrigued by Frieren. She offers to grant the elf any spell from her infinite collection, but Frieren declines. She expresses a simple desire to wander the world and discover spells on her own. This shocks Serie, who withdraws her praise. However, Flam passionately defends her pupil, telling Serie that Frieren's endless, humble curiosity is precisely what will one day enable her to defeat the Demon King. This philosophy echoes powerfully in the present-day battle within the exam forest. The conflict is split into two fronts. On the first front, Richter of Denkin's team has trapped Loween and Canna inside a powerful barrier. He lectures them on the superiority of his defensive magic and how normal defensive magic only made for magic attacks is useless against modern magic, and completely destroys them with it, as they are also in the disadvantage of not having water nearby and confident that they are no threat. He states he will only kill them if his leader, Denkin, loses. And down there, Frieren confronts Denkin directly. Denkin, wanting a swift end, unleashes spectacular high magic attack, making the attention of the taskmasters on him as well. But Frieren, embodying the calm efficiency we saw in the past, counters and subdues him with precise, fundamental, and basic of magic, like child's play magic. With Denkin defeated, Frieren cleverly forces the speedster Larven, who had stolen their Stiller, to surrender by basically using reverse psychology with Denkin's life. She then binds both of them to a tree. Then, Frieren reveals her grand strategy. She informs Denkin that she has already analysed the very fabric of the exam's barrier, a barrier created by Serie herself. She then goes on, casting a spell that can completely shatter the legendary barrier, stunning the exam proctors watching from afar. This act is not just for the aura, but now, with the Serie's barrier gone, Canna can now summon water freely from the rain. Seizing the moment, Loween and Canna execute a perfectly synchronised, overwhelming attack, destroying Richter decisively. With all threats neutralised, Frieren praises her students with proud headbands, and now they can pass. We then see Fern's team still waiting for the time to be over. And back to Denkin's team. Now with basically no mana left, they were going to lose, but then they stumble upon a team with no third teammate to steal a Stiller. And drained by mana, Richter asks how they are going to steal. And Denkin teaches that even if they can't be a mage and use magic now, they sure as hell can be men and use their hands. And Denkin's goes for it. A montage then reveals the 18 mages who passed, including all our key players. Now waiting for the next test. We also see Stark just sitting alone missing his party. Like and subscribe for more recaps like these. After a long night, Frieren and Fern returns only to see Stark sleeping till evening. And now with Fern mad Stark try to cheer up a grumpy Fern with good food. Meanwhile, the teams reunites in town. Richter gets roped into dinner with Denkin and Larfen. And in the shadows, Ubel confronts Land, copying Verbal's binding spell and revealing her dangerous love for magic. The groups all converge on the famous old Bell restaurant. Denkin's party spots Frieren's table, but leaves them to their meal, as Frieren enjoys a stack of meat, just like she did 50 years ago with Himmel's party in a flashback. While the taste has changed over the decades, she finds a new happiness in its enduring quality. And now Fern is happy again. Until again, the next morning, Fern is upset this time because Frieren overslept. Stark, caught in the middle, broke his peace by taking Fern shopping for snacks. And while there, they met with the mage apprentices Loween and Canna, who are back to their arguments and fighting. Their stroll is interrupted by the northern warrior mage Verbal, the one Ubel fought who requests Stark's help on a mission. With Fern's permission, much to Stark's dismay, he's temporarily taken. Back at the inn, Loween and Canna thank Frieren for her help in the first exam with a gift, triggering a memory of Himmel. In the flashback, Himmel tells Frieren that to be remembered, you must touch someone's life, even in small ways. In the present, a messenger bird delivers the instructions for the second exam. The note reveals the proctor will be the formidable mage, Sense, known for her high failure rate, where she has only made 4 tests in history, in which none passed. The stage is set for the next great challenge. The daunting second phase of the First-Class Mage Exam commences. The proctor is the legendary mage, Sense, known for her brutal tests with staggering failure rates. She reveals the arena, the ruins of the King's Tomb. The objective is straightforward, reach the deepest chamber. But the path is shrouded in danger. To ensure survival, she distributes enchanted golem bottles for emergency escape with a stark warning. Shattering the bottle saves your life, but ends your exam. Tensions rise as strategies diverge. Veteran mage Denkin advocates for cautious teamwork, but many candidates, driven by pride and competition, choose to go it alone. In a surprising move, Sense decides to personally accompany Frieren and Fern, not to guide them, but to observe the duo whose power she recognises. As they descend, Frieren's millennia of experience surfaces, both wise and foolish. A flashback reveals Himmel's romantic view of dungeon crawling. The thrill of discovery, fighting monsters, and uncovering treasure. It was this spirit that originally drew Frieren to adventure. In the present, however, her obsession with finding grimoires leads her to ignore Fern's warning, resulting in her getting chomped by a classic mimic chest, much to Sense's bewildered amusement. Elsewhere, the dungeon's true nature manifests. Denkin's small alliance faces animated stone gargoyles, their first combat test. The gargoyles seem to be powerful opponents, but with the different skill sets of the mages, they destroys all of them. But the battle proves the dungeon's lethality when a trap isolates one member, forcing her to use the escape golem and fail the exam. The exam's stakes are viscerally confirmed. In a quiet burial chamber, Sense and Fern share a poignant moment. Sense analyses Fern, noting her exceptional skill but questioning her underlying motivation. Fern's answer is simple yet profound. She continues her magical journey to walk alongside Frieren and share in her small joys, a humble purpose that echoes Himmel's lesson about touching lives. The episode's climax unveils the dungeon's ultimate defense mechanism. Werbel's party is ambushed by one of the most flawless, autonomous stone replicas of themselves, which means the hardest obstacle here are themselves. After a difficult fight with the same opponents, Denkin's group presses forward, only to enter a new chamber. The camera pans up to reveal their next and most terrifying opponent. A silent, perfectly sculpted stone replica of Frieren. The copy stands motionless, its gaze promising a confrontation against the very pinnacle of magical power. The stage is set for an impossible battle. The mages forms a desperate plan. To defeat the Dungeon Lord Spiegel and erase his replicas, they must first get past the perfect copy of Frieren guarding his door. But how do you kill a flawless imitation of a legendary mage? The answer arrives with the sharp minds of Canna and Lawin. They reveal the replicas have a creator, Spiegel himself, hidden in the treasure vault. And the path is sealed by an incredible spell maintained by the Frieren replica. There is no way other than the fight. Fern, however, has been observing her master for years. She devises a theory for killing Frieren and tests it, firing a spell at Frieren. And in that moment, Denkin makes the crucial deduction. Frieren has one fatal vulnerability. For the briefest instant when she casts the spell herself, her flawless mana detection flickers. It is a window of opportunity, smaller than a heartbeat, where she can't see another mage around her. The plan is set. Frieren will engage her copy in a magical duel, creating that precise moment of blindness. Fern will be the sniper, waiting to fire a single decisive Zoltrak spell through the opening. And the group prepares to hold off the army of other replicas converging on their location. Frieren rallies them with quiet confidence as she remembers how a strategic plan like this was done with Himmel and the party, and smiles knowing the fun it was. The battle commences, and the animators goes crazy with the animation, and the dazzling clash of spells between Frieren and her double begins. After a lot of aura being thrown in, and Frieren and her replica unleash their full power, the moment arrives. The copy takes the bait, casting a formidable spell. In that split-second vulnerability, Fern acts. The episode ends with her Zoltrak blast piercing the chaos, a beam of light aimed directly at the heart of perfection. The second exam's true horror is revealed. The dungeon boss, Spiegel, is a powerful being that can create perfect replicas that mirror a mage's power, skills, and mana. And the only way to win against one's replica is by teamwork. For the pacifist Proctor Sense, this is the ultimate test of analysis and coordination, not just brute force. In the tombs, Denkin's party is in a desperate struggle, barely holding their own against a flawless, silent copy of Frieren. Meanwhile, Ubel finds Land injured, his escape golem stolen by her own replica, and everyone is in desperate situation. But ever manipulative, Ubel weaves a plan not just to fight her double, but to ensnare Land's loyalty. She battles her replica, knowing very well she could be killed because she knew Land would come. And when he does, he created a moment of distraction to shatter her copy. She reveals she knew the injured Land was a clone all along, and orchestrated the entire fight to make the real Land feel indebted to her for risking her life. Elsewhere, Frieren, Fern and Sense is chilling and discover a hidden mural chamber, a beautiful monument of history, and after a while reunite with the exhausted Denkin and his team. They learn of the Frieren replica blocking their path. The group instantly brainstorms solutions, restraint magic, hypnosis, but Frieren calmly informs them she is resistant to such spells. The hypnosis specialist Edel, in another corridor, confirms their worst fear when her hypnotic magic fails against a Sense replica. She deduces the copies have no true minds to influence, only perfect predatory instincts, and is forced to use her escape golem and quit. With hypnotic magical useless, Frieren concludes the only way forward is by force. But as the group decides itself to a nearly impossible battle, Fern steps forward. She states, calmly and with certainty, that she knows how to kill Frieren's replica. A stunned silence falls over the veteran mages. Intrigued, Frieren turns to her prodigy student, and the episode ends with a simple, powerful suggestion. They will build their entire strategy around Fern. The mages forms a desperate plan. To defeat the Dungeon Lord Spiegel and erase his replicas, they must first get past the perfect copy of Frieren guarding his door. But how do you kill a flawless imitation of a legendary mage? The answer arrives with the sharp minds of Canna and Lawin. They reveal the replicas have a creator, Spiegel himself, hidden in the treasure vault. And the path is sealed by an incredible spell maintained by the Frieren replica. There is no way other than the fight. Fern, however, has been observing her master for years. She devises a theory for killing Frieren and tests it, firing a spell at Frieren. And in that moment, Denken makes the crucial deduction. Frieren has one fatal vulnerability. For the briefest instant when she casts the spell herself, her flawless mana detection flickers. It is a window of opportunity, smaller than a heartbeat, where she can't see another mage around her. The plan is set. Frieren will engage her copy in a magical duel, creating that precise moment of blindness. Fern will be the sniper, waiting to fire a single decisive Zoltrak spell through the opening. And the group prepares to hold off the army of other replicas converging on their location. Frieren rallies them with quiet confidence as she remembers how a strategic plan like this was done with Himmel and the party, and smiles knowing the fun it was. The battle commences, and the animators goes crazy with the animation, and the dazzling clash of spells between Frieren and her double begins. After a lot of aura being thrown in, and Frieren and her replica unleash their full power, the moment arrives. The copy takes the bait, casting a formidable spell. In that split-second vulnerability, Fern acts. The episode ends with her Zoltrak blast piercing the chaos, a beam of light aimed directly at the heart of perfection. The peak battles of the second exam. While Frieren and Fern engage in battle against the perfect replica, and the animators goes crazy for it, but the other mages fight for survival against copies of themselves. The mages' strategy is seen as teams are split to handle specific threats based on their weakness. But a new terror emerges, the replica of the Proctor, Sense. It moves with silent, lethal precision, taking out Richter and Lewine before they can even react. Faced with this overwhelming power, Denken is joined by Ubel and Land. But Ubel, with her terrifyingly unique magic, steps forward and says she can take her. A flashback reveals her past, how she once killed a first-class mage during an exam. The exam was run by a mage who have created a cloak that can withstand any magic, and one can pass simply by damaging him. Ubel, however, has a different way of magic, as she simply cut through the first-class mage, killing him and causing chaos. As Ubel engages the Sense replica, she has this same wild imagination as she cut through the replica's hair. Werbel and his team join the battle, having conquered their own duplicates. Methode volunteers to take on the Fern replica, confident in her binding magic. But the dungeon's curse persists. Defeated replicas begin to reanimate, forcing the mages into a desperate, endless defense. At the heart of it all, Frieren and Fern is still in the beautiful battle as they execute their plan to kill the replica. Frieren before the battle entrusted everything to Fern, even willing to risking her own life to create the one opening needed. Now, in the present, that trust is repaid, as Fern seizes the microscopic moment of vulnerability and unleashes her Zoltrak, shattering the Frieren replica. The battle is finally over, or she thought, as the replica somehow casted another spell at Fern, shattering her staff. That's when Fern realizes this is the height of magic. Magic which is done solely through one's mind. Frieren proceeds to the inner chamber and obliterates the dungeon lord, Spiegel, with casual, overwhelming force. With Spiegel's defeat, the replicas vanish. The surviving mages gather at the dungeon's lowest level, where Sense congratulates them. They have all passed. The episode closes on a solemn note, showing the faces of those who failed, a reminder of the exam's brutal cost. After the brutal test, Fern argue over a simple yet meaningful object. Fern's damaged staff, a final gift from Haita. Frieren sees it as a broken tool. Fern sees it as an irreplaceable memory and want it fixed. This small conflict starts the growing emotional distance between the immortal elf and her human apprentice, a gap Stark is trying to bridge. Across town, the other examinees grapple with their own futures. Lewine wrestles with her failure, while Denken offers a veteran's perspective to the bitter and talented Richter, urging him not to be defined by his loss, and how he sees his young self in Richter. In a quiet act of understanding, Frieren also visits Richter's shop, not to buy a new staff, but to have the old one repaired. As she does know, Fern can't lose it. Later, Fern comes home to the surprise and is grateful. The next day, the imposing final test, proctored by the ancient and powerful elf, Serie, begins. Unimpressed by the number of survivors, she takes personal command. One by one, she dismisses the candidates, including Cannon and many others, finding their potential lacking. Her judgment is swift and absolute. Then, Frieren enters. Serie holds a deep, centuries-old contempt for her, blaming Frieren's mere presence for lowering the exam standards. In a test designed for failure, Serie asks for Frieren's favourite spell. When Frieren answers with the same spell beloved by their shared mentor, Flamma, Serie sees only imitation and denies her. As Frieren turns to leave, a flashback unveils the true origin of her love for the spell. A young, lost Himmel is seen desperate, but Frieren passing by was the one that helped him. The elf in a forest who used magic not for war, but to create a field of flowers. This single moment of beauty made him seek her out decades later. Frieren didn't join the hero's party by chance, she was its inspiration. And as she leaves, she asks Serie a favour, not to underestimate Fern. Finally, Fern enters the chamber. Serie is initially dismissive, and though Fern was scared of her mana, but upon closer inspection, she makes a stunning realization about Fern's unparalleled perception. Fern saw something no A-class mage saw: the flickering of mana in Serie, telling us Serie is suppressing mana, and in a rare moment of desire, the great mage offers to make Fern her personal pupil, an offer of unimaginable height. But without hesitation, Fern refuses. Her loyalty lies not with power or legacy, but with the mage who took her in. Impressed by this resolve, Serie grants her the title of First-Class Mage. The episode closes as the era of humans, full of unexpected potential and unwavering bonds, earns its place beside the Age of Elves. The final judgments are delivered. One by one, the remaining examinees stand before the immortal mage, Serie. Denkin passes, not for his current power, but for the enduring fire within him, even though she wanted his younger self. Ubel is passed without question, as her dangerous potential is recognized instantly. On Land's case, Serie sees through something instantly, and then we realize all this time Land was his clone, and he never even left his house, which is diabolical. Verbal and method he passed with their starkly honest, if brutal, philosophies on magic. With the exam concluded, the mages go their separate ways, their bonds forged in the dungeon now echoing in quiet goodbyes. Denkin shares a poignant moment with Fern and Stark, as Denkin shares how his wife has passed away when he was nobody, and now with the amount of wealth and power he has now, he still can't do anything about it. Frieren, meanwhile, has a fateful benchside conversation with Werbel. He speaks of Himmel not as a legendary hero, but as the man who saved his village through mundane, unrecorded kindness. This brought back a memory to Frieren's, where Himmel insists on helping strangers with their luggage, rather than continuing their journey to kill the Demon King, remembering every one of how he can never stop helping people in front of him for the reason of some distant problem. Werbel leaves Frieren with a parting truth. Death isn't the only goodbye in life. As Fern attends the First-Class Mage ceremony, Frieren is funnily enough banned from entry for 1,000 years. A petty but fitting punishment from the childlike Serie. Waiting outside, Frieren and Stark are approached by Lernen, the first-class mage. And out of nowhere, consumed by a desire for a legacy like Flammer's, he attacks Frieren, wishing to be remembered as the mage who killed Frieren. Frieren effortlessly deflects his assault, not with anger, but with pity. She reveals the simple, heartbreaking truth Serie shared in a flashback. Serie remembers all her students, their personalities and favourite spells, and regrets none of them. Lernen's desperate bid for remembrance was always pointless. He was already remembered, and Frieren leaves Lernen to his thoughts of regret. The next morning, the journey north truly continues. Frieren asked Fern of the spell she wished at Serie, and Fern got the simple spell to clean clothes rather than the many legendary spells she could have asked for. A beautifully practical choice that makes Frieren beam with pride. As they depart the city, and Frieren says goodbye to Canna and Lewine, she recalls Himmel's philosophy on goodbyes. They never made him tearful and long, as Himmel always believed they'd always meet again. The season closes on the road, with Frieren, Fern and Stark looking toward the distant northern lands. Their pilgrimage to Ende continues, carrying with them the weight of memories, the warmth of new bonds, and the quiet understanding that the most meaningful adventures are often the small, human ones in between the legends.